Ian Lovejoy joining us now. Ian, great to have you on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
John, good morning. How are you?
Okay, Ian Lovejoy, I'm fine. So you're taking on Lee Carter, hashtag Commy Lee of the CCCP. Now, here's a communist that, by the way, if, again, the Democrats win, and I'm sounding the alarm bells because right now they're ahead, and if everybody keeps fighting with each other like Republicans do and has no message, the Democrats are going to take over the House. You're going to get caucus of the corn in charge, and this communist is going to be in charge of a committee, and he's going to be a committee chairman. Ian, before I get to your campaign, can I highlight some of the things that your opponent, incumbent Commy Lee Carter, has proposed? May I?
It's your show, John.
Let's start here, okay? Number one, he has proposed, these are bills he's proposed, not maybe, should be. So when Blue Virginia gets a hold of this and Lowell puts something up about it and says, oh, this isn't true, and Fredericks is making it up, and he's trying to message for the Republican Party who are losing right now. Look, Lowell, here's the deal. Here's bills the guy put in. I've got numbers and I got bills. And so it is what it is, dude. So we got to call this out. Number one, Commy Lee Carter puts in HB 1806. This is a bill to end right to work. You end right to work in Virginia, you're not going to be the number one state. It's going to cost hundreds of thousands of jobs. Companies come here because union membership is not compulsory. Now, we have great unions in the state, and I'm a big pro-union guy, and we have great memberships, but it's not compulsory. You join the union because you believe that is in your best interest, and so you join it and you pay their dues, and that's why we have so many union members in Virginia, but it's not compulsory. There's not a gun to your head. You have to join this in order to work. That's called right to work. He's going to end that. Now let's get to HJR 724. This is his Green New Deal in Virginia. So if you love the Green New Deal and you love the squad and you love AOC and those other crackpots that want to bankrupt the country, Commy Lee Carter's your guy because he has a Green New Deal for Virginia. None of this is publicized. Oh, by the way, not only does he want to kill jobs, well, he wants to kill babies coming out of the birth canal because he also co-sponsored Kathy Tran's crackpot infanticide bill, which is HB 2491, which is giving the parent the mother, the right to terminate the life of the child, as the governor said after they're on the table. And born, the governor said that. That's what your governor said. I'm not making this up. He said it right on a radio show. And that's what the bill was. He's also got HJ 125, Medicaid for All, which is the end of private health insurance in Virginia. So if you have any private coverage right now through your union or through any job that you have, according to Commy Lee Carter, it'll go away. And you will be forced and herded in to a government program. So forget your insurance. It's gone, according to hashtag Commy Lee of the CCCP, Delegate Communist Lee Carter. He's also sent out a pro-ANTIFA tweet saying that if elected again, he would join ANTIFA. Let me read the tweet. This is his stuff, man. He says, liberals, when you say you would have done something different if you were there in the 1930s, Germany's now the time to prove it. He says in his tweet, defend Antifa, communists and all. Of course, he would defend him because he is a communist. Or admit that you're doing nothing to stop the rise of fascism in Virginia. Defend and join Antifa is what he says. Defend it. So obviously he wants to be a member of that. He also has blasted the sheriffs in Virginia in another tweet, and his own party, the Manassas Democratic Party, says the guy's MIA, missing in action. So you got a communist you're running against that wants to kill babies, kill jobs, get the Green New Deal in, bankrupt the state, take your private insurance away, whether you like it or not. He'd like to do that. He says it all right here. He's backed these bills. I'm not making this stuff up. And his own local party says he doesn't do crap in his district. His party. This is the guy, Ian, you're running against. How do you beat him?
Well, It's going to sound cliched, but you have to start with a lot of hard work. So we are aggressively reaching out to the population, the population of voters here in the 50th. We're knocking a lot of doors. We're taking our message directly to the voters. I've knocked a lot of doors, and what I can tell you is that the thoughts on the mind of the voters in the 50th do not align with the bills and the actions that you just outlined. And so we think we have a real example of a constituency that probably is not in alignment with their representation, and our goal is to give them a really strong and viable alternative come in November. But we have to get the word out. A lot of people just don't know. A lot of people just don't know the issues you just outlined, and our part is to make sure that they're educated, they understand how they're being represented, and to put together a strong alternative to the representation they're currently getting.
The lying fake news legacy media in Virginia completely ignores this guy's tweets, what he said, what his record is, what he stood for. And so the voters in Manassas in that district right now, I believe that's, if memory serves me, that's District 50, I think, basically in Manassas, Delegate 50. House number 50, they've completely ignored it and whitewashed it. I mean, could you imagine? This guy sends a tweet out saying you need to defend Antifa. Antifa is a terrorist organization that has Molotov cocktails that they throw at innocent people. They have hoods and clubs and guns, and they beat people up. That's what Antifa is. And he says you need to defend it? This is the guy that you're going to put in charge of a committee if Caucus of the Corn takes over and he wins again? This is the guy that you want representing you. By the way, his own party said he's AWOL. He doesn't do anything locally because he's focused on national communist issues or whatever he's doing. This guy is an avowed socialist and communist, and he's a House member. He's not a candidate. This guy got elected in 2017. And you know what, Ian? What just amazes me is that he has no media coverage of this. There's no legacy lying fake news media in Virginia that has gone out and said, like I just did today, here's the guy's record. You want to vote for him? Fine, but I mean, this isn't editorializing. I mean, here's his record. Here's what he has proposed. End right to work, Green New Deal, co-sponsor Kathy Tran infanticide bill, Medicaid for all, end private insurance. Now, it's not, hey, we want to be sure you're covered and get Medicaid expansion like I know the Republicans backed in the last session. He wants to eliminate your insurance. So if you're in Virginia right now and you like your coverage, guess what? Gone. He's going to take it away. This is the guy, Ian, that you're running against. How do you get out this message?
Again, we have to work hard. We have to take the message directly to the voters, and that's what I've been doing every day at the doors in the evenings and the weekends. We've got a great team of volunteers who are out knocking doors, and the feedback we're getting is that people don't know about most of this stuff. They're shocked when they hear about it, and it certainly doesn't align with the priorities that they feel are most important to the 50th, which is, of course, transportation and improving health care and improving education. And, the people of the 50th are smart people. They know what their issues and concerns are, and they're very practical concerns. And, they need an actual leader who is going to listen to those concerns and work in the General Assembly to solve those concerns and not make up a list of extreme issues and focus on that for their entire tenure. So, and the response has been great. I mean, when we let people know what their current leadership is doing and offer them a good alternative, the response is out of this world. And, I'm a city councilman in Manassas. I've served for 7 years, and so this is a population that I'm comfortable with, that I know. And, again, these are just not the issues that the electorate is driving. It's issues politicians are coming up with to try to drive their own personal narrative.
Ian Lovejoy, this is another tweet I'm going to read. This is from the Manassas Park official Democratic organization. So this is their official tweet with their official logo. Okay, let me read this to you, right? This is from the Democratic Party of Manassas, Virginia, not some person or some make-believe Twitter handle. This is their official Twitter handle. It says, Lee Carter has essentially been MIA locally since his election. Actually, months earlier, it says. He's done zip, interpretation zero, to help elect other Dems. We welcome Lee's re-engagement with the constituents he was elected to represent in Richmond. Any mess that he has will have been of his own making. What if you get elected? How are you going to be different?
I think I'm already different. So again, serving on the city council, I'm ever present in the community. Citizen engagement is one of the things I'm most proud to do, and to work with citizens, and it's the thing I like to do the most. And so I will continue that in the House of Delegates and show up. I mean, just showing up is such a big part of it, but it's something that that others seem to be getting wrong. And I have a proven record on the city council of working with folks, of being responsive to our citizens, and that's something that I want to continue in the House of Delegates. And additionally, jobs are important. We've had a lot of really good economic growth and a lot of really good jobs brought to this region. And just in the last 18 months, we announced a massive expansion of one of our facilities here called Micron that added over 1,100 high-paying, good new jobs. And our delegate voted against it. He didn't want to bring good jobs to the region, and it's that kind of it's one thing when it's all speculation and it's all hypothesis, but to actually see our delegate take actions that are hurting constituents and trying to hold back jobs, something has to be done.
Well, look, that's why I wanted to have you on today. And there's one thing, again, I can speculate about what somebody may or might do based on their history, but this is the facts, right? Facts don't lie. You can't argue with them. That's why I'm the Godzilla of the truth in America, because I tell people the truth. This is what this guy has done. Tell me the bill that he voted against, that he basically voted against about 1,200 jobs coming to Manassas. What was that?
I don't have the bill number memorized, but we can certainly get that information out there. It's in black and white. It's in the register. It was the economic incentive package that helped solidify Micron's expansion, and he voted against that. So, and then one of the few people in the House of Delegates to do so, and it was right in his own district. And
well, because he's like AOC, right? He doesn't want jobs. I mean,
very very similar mindset. I mean, this was, again, these are high-paying jobs. The deal came with a nice, clear pipeline where local high school students can get trained up at our community colleges and go and get a really good benefited job. This isn't a scenario where we're trying to import jobs from outside of the region. It was very localized to benefit our citizens and our constituents and to get them good jobs in the area. And on top of it, it brings a lot of ancillary jobs as well around the edges. And so that is something that directly impacts my constituents as a city councilman here in Manassas. And it's unfathomable that somebody who actually has the community's interest at heart would vote that way.
You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Trucking the Truth Across America. I'm with Ian Lovejoy, Republican House of Delegates candidate, 50th District in Virginia, running against Commy Lee Carter, hashtag Commy Lee of the CCCP. Lee votes against jobs, votes against your health insurance. If you elect him, he's going to be a committee chairman. He's going to strip right to work out. He's going to do everything he can to destroy the economy. He already voted against 1,100 good-paying jobs coming to Manassas. Doesn't really care about his own people, cares about his national agenda. This guy's AOC on steroids, coupled with the fact that he says you should defend Antifa. Great organization. Hey, what's another Molotov cocktail thrown in the crowd of innocent people? It's a good thing. He said it. I didn't say it. I'm just reading the guy's stuff. And the lying legacy fake news media in Virginia won't touch the guy, which is astonishing to me. Just astonishing that this guy's record is not on the tip of everybody's tongue. And let me tell you, if you sit around and let Eileen Filler-Corn and Caucus of the Corn take over this House, Lee Carter is going to be a committee chairman. He's going to be a spokesperson. This is the tip of the iceberg, what these people are going to do. This isn't the old Democratic Party of Janet Howell and Dick Saslaw and Adam Eben that are, going to chamber meetings and trying to get jobs in Northern Virginia and build roads. This isn't Saslaw and and Chap Peterson and Surivel trying to get things done. These people are nuts. I mean, you are about to let crazy people come in and take the state over. The crazies are at the gates right now, led by Commy Lee Carter. Here's another thing that is stunning to me. Okay, so this guy not only does he want to defend Antifa, okay, but the other thing he said in one of his early tweets and what he backed is he wants a Green New Deal for Virginia. Well, we've already fleshed out AOC's Green New Deal, which would bankrupt the United States in about a 36-month period. But secondly, AOC's own chief of staff said, this isn't really about the economy. I'm sorry, this isn't about the environment. The Green New Deal is really about going to a socialistic state. This is what these people say. I'm not making this up, Ian.
No, I mean, and again, if you look down the list of priorities, and I think that the bills that he has proposed outline his priorities. The question you have to ask yourself is: are those the priorities that are in alignment with the people of the 50th district, which he represents? And there's not a single bill that has been introduced that really represents the legislative agenda of the city of Manassas or Prince William County. There's not a single bill or piece of legislation that represents anything that we're hearing at the doors of the concerns of the actual voters here in the 50th. And so it's an agenda. It certainly is an agenda, but it's not designed to better the lives of the people of the 50th.
Ian, Lovejoy, when you're out talking to voters and knocking on doors, and I don't mean your Republican walking list, I mean independents and Democrats, do you bring any of this stuff up in people's homes?
Yeah, I mean there's a big education piece to this because a lot of people, Republican, Independent, Democrats, seasoned voter or new voter, a lot of people just aren't aware of the agenda that's being put forward in their name, and so a big piece of this is trying to communicate it to folks. And what we're hearing is that when we tell them those are the bills that our delegate is focused on, and those are the priorities that he has deemed fit to put forward in there representing them. Very little alignment. Very little alignment.
Well, I don't know. Very little alignment. I mean, when you sit in somebody's living room who is trying to put their kids through school and trying to get money to go on vacation and trying to make ends meet, and you sit there and you say, hey, by the way, your delegate wants to take your health insurance away. Your delegate wants a new Green Deal in Virginia, which would bankrupt the state. Your delegate just cost you 1,100 jobs. And oh, by the way, your delegate says you ought to be out there defending Antifa as they're throwing Molotov cocktails around. And, of course, we had the guy that came there. Where was he? Portland or Seattle, the head of Antifa that came there with a high-powered semi-automatic weapon that was shot dead by police. God knows what he was going to do with that. And they put on black hoods and they beat people up with clubs. And that's the organization that he thinks you ought to be defending. I mean, sitting in somebody's living room in Manassas, how could they react to that?
I mean, they're stalled out. I mean, they're surprised that they don't know about it. They're surprised that people aren't talking about it, and it is news to them. And that is a shame because again, this is an agenda that is being put forward in their name. It's assumed that it's the agenda that they want as the voters of the 50th, and from our experience, nothing could be further from the truth. As
long as he can hide it, he's going to win again. And your job is to go out and highlight, just not make anything up or not speculate, just say what he's done, what he's proposed, and what his agenda is. That's all you have to do. This is way out of alignment with the mainstream America, as is all of the agenda of Caucus of the Corn, Ian. And look, this is a wake-up call for Republicans, moderates, and independents around Virginia. They don't like a tweet that Trump sent out. Okay, I get it. Okay, I understand it. But to say, well, I'm going to do a backlash here and put these people in charge because I don't like some tweet that went out under President Trump is not a sane way to go about making this decision. These people are certifiably nuts. You've got this guy is the centerpiece of their campaign. And Republicans are afraid to point any of this out, Ian. That's why they're losing. They're scared to death. Look, I'm in Richmond, and I turned the TV on the other day. Glenn Sturdivant, the Senate is gone. Sturdivant down by, 10. And I see an ad with an ice cream cone. I see the ice cream ad. This is indicative of why you guys are losing. And until you go out there and do what I'm doing right now and start telling Virginians, you elect Caucus of the Corn and reelect Commy Lee of the CCCP, who's going to be a committee chairman, you are going to completely destroy the state, because that is what is going on. And a lot of your peers are standing around running ice cream ads. And you know what's going to happen, Ian? They're going to lose. You've got to point out what is going on, and I hope you're going to continue, Ian, to do that in this campaign. And if you're successful at it, you're going to win.
And again, that is central to our messaging, is to make sure that citizens truly know what they're voting on this November and what is at stake.
This is not your father's Democratic Party of Virginia. This is the crazy party, and they're storming the gates. And you better do something, and you better do it now, or it's gone for a generation. Ian, thanks for being with us. People want more info. Where do they go?
VoteLovejoy.com.
Ian, thank you. VoteLovejoy.com.
Have a
good luck. We'll have you back. John Fredericks Radio Network